1999.
Wow.
Okay. Back in the day, if we had to do something like this that had, and if it had satellite radio, it was another box. If it had Bluetooth, it was another box. If it had iPod, it was another box. So now you're talking, in order to do what we have now, what we take for granted as being basic, it was like 4 or 5 boxes, modules that you had to find somewhere to live in the car, connect them all, power them all. I mean, it was just a lot. All right, hey guys, Jerry from Showtime Audio. So we have Ryan's gorgeous 1992 Nissan 300ZX. This thing is immaculate. I mean, he has preserved this car. I've never seen him with this like brown interior. It is just fantastic. Now, he had a huge stereo system done way back in the day. I mean, and it was all top-notch gear. It had an Eclipse head unit. It had MB Court Q class components. If you know, those are the best ones. It had Eclipse amplifiers and a JL Audio stealth box. So he loves the look and wants to kind of keep that original style that he had done in the 90s, but wants to update the gear. So we ended up going with 2 JL Audio HD amplifiers, a 4-channel and a monoblock, as well as Focal K2s in the front, and then a newer, not new, but a newer copper chassis Pioneer radio. So and the reason for that is that at least now it has Bluetooth options, because the original deck had nothing, basically. It had a 30-pin iPod connector. If you even know, if anybody even remembers what a 30-pin iPod connector was, but it allowed you to play, to store music and play it. This new radio, well, newer radio, is from 2009. So it's still not the newest thing in the world, but it's a copper chassis. It has a built-in DSP. It has built-in tuning, which is kind of nuts. So it has a microphone. Think about that. 2009, they had technology that allowed you to auto-tune the car per se. It's not perfect, but for the time, it's really good. And with the updated gear, it's unreal. We'll show you footage. Now the actual original install from the 90s was actually pretty good. I mean, they were doing a lot of advanced things that we're doing now. But we went through and basically freshened everything up and brought it up to current standards. So aesthetically, we really didn't change anything. We just modified behind the scenes to make the install more current and more effective with the new gear. So let's start with the amplifier rack. So that is an original compartment that lives there. So what the previous shop had did is they built this vinyl panel with that grill mesh, and the amplifiers just sat in there. Very subtle, very classy looking. It just kind of looks like it came with the car. So what we did is we kept that. These are the 2 amplifiers. So you have your 4-channel HD and your monoblock HD. And then again, this is the original panel. The only thing we did is we actually built a floor for it and bolted it in place, and then built these channels in order to securely be able to mount this, because we like things to be mounted and fixed, even if it's just like, this Velcro, once it's on there, it was kind of a pain for me to get it off just now. So if you can see, all the wires are now ferruled. All the wires are braided, heat shrunk, and again, really, really, really good gear. And then this is the stealth box. So this is a JL Audio stealth box for the time, probably one of the first of its kind. And then the woofer actually fires out the side there. But again, it just kind of goes with the car, and it looks like it could have came there, right? So the style and the way this car was done many, many years ago is very much in the style that we would do now. We wanted to perform really well, but we wanted to look as if nothing was done to it, which is very difficult to do, and they did a really good job. So. All right, so going with the fabrication. So the 6.5 K2s are now in the original location in the door. We had to make an adapter because the mounting depth of the K2s is actually much more than the mounting depth of the MB Quartz. And then the tweeters, if you see those little pods that they built down in the kick, we had to open up the back in order for the new tweeter, the Focal tweeter, to fit within that cavity, and also to get a better angle. We wanted it to have the best possible aim so we could get the most out of them. And this is that Pioneer copper chassis radio, which is amazing. So the reason is it's a high-end deck, basically. It's got the processing built in, it's got the copper chassis, which just means the internals are the highest that were available or that Pioneer offered at that time. And here's that 30-pin iPod connector. For all you people, this is what an iPod looked like, and this is what the connector was like. It was a proprietary 30-pin connector. And then now this works through the new radio. But the new radio also allows you to have Bluetooth for phone calls. So it allows you to do Bluetooth streaming. So now he'll be able to at least do make and receive phone calls and stream audio. So one of the other reasons for the stereo upgrade, because the radio that he had was still a good radio, copper chassis Eclipse, but he wanted some of the more modern conveniences. All right. And then, so as always, you know we love our breakers, right? So, but again, everything is heat shrunk, braided, and denoted, so that this way you know that this is the stereo. And this allows you to, you press that button, pops that little lever out, no more sound, right? Need sound again? You hear that click, you're back in business. So it makes it super serviceable, and it looks as if it could have came with the car. Plus, again, car goes to the dealer, car goes to the mechanic, car goes anywhere you're worried about it, press that button, system is basically disconnected. The radio will still light up, but nothing will play. So this is the new gear. So it's an HD 604, HD 751, the DEX P99 RS, and then the Focal K2s. So that replaced these Eclipse, you know, the Eclipse amplifiers, the old school copper chassis Eclipse radio, and then the MB Court Q class components. All right, just wanted to do a quick throwback, right? So this radio is ancient, I guess, by today's standards. This is radios from 1999, March of 1999. So just to show you, so this is the radio. Now, keep in mind, had no Bluetooth, had no CarPlay, had no nothing. I mean, and even didn't even have a USB because that wasn't really a thing, and had this interface, which did iPod, the old 30-pin iPod. But all this now, plus Bluetooth, streaming, all that is in a radio, and the chassis are only this big. I mean, it's amazing how far technology has come, right? Now, this is 1999, so we're talking roughly 26 years ago. The amount of technology now is amazing compared to like what we had to do back in the day. Back in the day, if we had to do something like this that had, and if it had satellite radio, it was another box. If it had Bluetooth, it was another box. If it had iPod, it was another box. So now you're talking, in order to do what we have now, what we take for granted as being basic, it was like 4 or 5 boxes, modules that you had to find somewhere to live in the car, connect them all, power them all. I mean, it was just a lot. And now, you know, you get a radio, it's this big by this big, and it has everything, you know? So just keep that in mind. It's crazy how far technology has come.
Perfect. Visit our website at showtimeaudiochicago.com.